Hello, everybody. Good to see you all. We're going to have, well, our house is having a fire inspection for fire alarms and fire extinguishers and stuff like that. So that's supposed to start at 10, and they're supposed to start in my room. So we'll go ahead and get started, but we won't start class until hopefully they come. So just to keep you informed. Okay, please make the mudra for the mandala. Here is the great earth filled with the smell of incense and covered with a blanket of flowers. The great mountain, the four continents wearing a jewel of the sun and the moon. In my mind, I make them the paradise of a Buddha and offer it all to you. By this deed, may every living being experience the pure world. Idam Guru Ratna Mandalikam Niryatayame. I go for refuge until I am aligned to the Buddha, compassion, knowledge, and strength, the Dharma, the enlightened side of truth, and the Sangha, the community of realized beings. From the virtuous merit that I create from the practice of giving with the understanding of emptiness, moral discipline with the understanding of emptiness, patience with the understanding of emptiness, joyous effort with the understanding of emptiness, concentration, wisdom, may I attain the state of a Buddha for the benefit of all living beings. I go for refuge until I am enlightened to the Buddha, compassion, knowledge, and strength, the Dharma, the enlightened side of truth, and the Sangha, the community of realized beings. From the virtuous merit I create from the practice of giving with the understanding of emptiness, moral discipline with the understanding of emptiness, patience with the understanding of emptiness, joyous effort with the understanding of emptiness, concentration and wisdom, may I attain the state of a Buddha for the benefit of all living beings. I go for refuge until I am enlightened to the Buddha, compassion, knowledge, and strength, the Dharma, the enlightened side of truth, and the Sangha, the community of realized beings. From the virtuous merit I create from the practice of giving with the understanding of emptiness, moral discipline with the understanding of emptiness, patience with the understanding of emptiness, joyous effort with the understanding of emptiness, concentration and wisdom, I will attain the state of a Buddha for the benefit of all living beings. Yay! Okay. Oh, got quite the crowd today. Let's start with Katerina. Katerina, what do you have to rejoice in today? You look particularly happy.
Hello, I'm glad to see you all. Svetlana, can you help me? Я радуюсь тому, что
I'm rejoicing that despite that I don't have a quite easy time because my husband went away to work for 16 days and I was afraid that, but my patience became stronger. Even I'm starving, not sleeping well and tired, I'm angry less, and it's a victory for me. And I was amazed when children told that I'm patient because I was so tired, and also I managed to do all my stuff. I even managed to help with work of my husband while he's absent, and now I understand like my mother, because it's very difficult when all responsibility on yourself, on your shoulders. Thank you so much. I think I rejoiced, and I am very happy that we have a class today.
What does your husband do that he has to be gone for 16 days?
он в походе.
He went to camping, something like camping.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Когда он сказал, что он едет
But I thought when he told that he is going to go to camping, it will be challenging, but then I will want to go to retreat as well. So he wants, and I need to tell that I agree, because I will want to go to retreat. So I want that he would accept it when I will want to go to retreat.
Very good. That's very wise. I wish you well. Okay, let's go down to Nellie. Nellie, what do you have to rejoice in?
У меня очень большая радость. Я сегодня
I have
вернулась.
tremendous rejoicing. I returned from the meeting with a teacher and Sangha. We lived together 4 days with the Sangha and teacher, and also I'm rejoicing that my husband didn't make any obstacles to meet with the teacher, and I managed to go and meet a teacher, and it's a miracle.
Wow. Well, you know that in order to keep that up, you need to help him get what he wants. So, very good. Okay. Lydia, is that right? Lydia? Yeah, you're up there.
Yes, Lydia, thank you very much. Hello, everyone. Hello, Lama Sumati. I'm happy that I'm here today. I'm happy that 2 months ago, approximately, I faced with some problems about my health. And I'm happy that I remember about the emptiness sometimes. And I think that these problems help me to start volunteering in hospice. And tomorrow will be the first meeting of all people who would like to help this organization. And I think that it was all for this that I will start to help.
Very
Thank you
good. Very good. Well, do it with wisdom. Know that by helping others, you're helping yourself to a brighter, more pleasant future. Good. Okay. Vilda, what do you have to rejoice in? The microphone.
How about now?
Yeah, there you go.
I rejoice that I could be heard and that I could hear others. Thank you very much. Thank you for teaching. I thank everybody for being here. Feel very connected. I guess what's happening in my life right now, a great rejoice for me, is that I am finding myself being more diligent in my studies. I am actually studying at night, which was always hard for me. And all of a sudden I find great energy and great joy in studying in the evenings. So I do it very early in the morning. I wake up like very, very early. And I do it very early, and I do it in the evenings before I go to bed. And I rejoice that finally I get to be there. I've been wanting to be there, and it's been very difficult. And I know that it's the seeds that I have been planting and rejoicing of others and helping others and the emptiness of it all. And I'm glad. I'm very, very, very joyful that I'm there, and I pray that I can continue planting those seeds and creating the karma to continue studying joyfully and finish my ACI courses to move further.
Excellent. Very good. Yes, you set the habit. You set I'm trying to set the habit for my exercise, and I keep running into obstacles with people having to come, like these firemen are coming and stuff like that. But I'm going to get going on it. Okay, Cornelia.
Thank you, Lama Sumati. Today, I was able to take 2 of my children to the dentist, and planted seeds for health and time.
Very good. How'd they do?
My son had 2 milk teeth extracted,
Ooh. Well, was he happy?
but it's all okay now.
Okay. Do you guys have the tooth fairy tradition in Germany or Austria? Or Germany?
Once Austria.
Yeah.
Alex and I live in Austria, and once a year we go to the dentist.
So, but in the United States, we have something called the tooth fairy, and you put your tooth under your pillow, and in the morning you get some money.
Yes, that's in Austria also this way.
Good. Well, he got 2 teeth out, so he got double the tooth fairy visit. Okay. Well, very good. I'm proud of him. Okay, Alex, how about you?
Hello, Venerable Sumati. Thank you. I rejoice at donation for those affected by the floods here in Austria, Vienna, because right after our last class, it started to rain for almost 4 days here. And it rained almost 3 times the amount of a normal month in 4 days, let's say.
Oh
And,
my goodness.
And all the small streams became huge rivers. And I dedicate this to all the people in need. Some of them are really facing the ruins of their existence. And at the same time, I'm rejoicing that this strengthens my feeling of renunciation, that there's no real refuge in worldly things, let's say.
Wow. Very good. That's a lot of rain.
Yeah.
Did you live near a stream? Do you have any flooding issues?
Yeah, we are living right. So our house is 20 meters away from a little stream, and this was then a really huge river. But we are also lucky that there is also let's say how is it called, retention area.
Yeah.
So we had, so it wasn't a limit, but it was still fine. So we got away with a scare, let's say, and yeah, it was close, but it was okay.
Wow. I've got to say, Cornelia and Alexander came to Diamond Mountain and surprised me. It was, I just walk into the room, I'm talking to some people, I look over there and, wait a minute, that's Alexander and Cornelia. So it's very sweet. Every time I see the 2 of you, I think of that moment. That was really sweet. Okay, Daria, what do you have to rejoice in?
Venerable Sumati. Today I'm rejoiced. I didn't argue today. I didn't argue with my boss and with my mom. And it's, for me, it's fantastic. Yes, she said, okay, I was very tired, and my mom said, please go to the shop. Okay, I go to the shop. And I'm not argue, I'm tired, I'm at something. And I rejoice to see a lot of smile people today in this class.
Good. Well, not arguing. Don't forget, your mother's a very powerful karmic object, so you can't argue with her because you're arguing with something very powerful. So being not arguing with her was very good. Okay. Okay, Christine.
I more thinks my mother is, maybe it's Buddha, because what she did, and it's amazing.
Oh, good. That's even better. Okay, Christina, what do you have to rejoice in?
Да, здравствуйте. Светлана, пожалуйста, перейдите.
Good afternoon. Yes. Today I have such rejoicing that I finished my part of my responsibilities to transcribe ACI too, that I'm rejoicing a lot about it. And plus to this, in addition to that, when I was finishing the story about Master Asanga, an understanding came to me why old woman saw a dog, because those old women, she was like a Master Sangha. She was so close, just a little bit, and if at those moments she felt compassion to this crazy man with a dog, then perhaps it would allow her to see Maitreya. Love which is represented by golden light, and that was so amusing, amazing, such big rejoicing for today.
Very good, very good. Anything's possible, but you have to have the karma for it. So that's the key. Anything is possible, but you have to have the karma for it. Okay, Katya, what do you have to rejoice in?
Hi, hello everybody. I rejoice that I was running in the morning, and every time I saw garbage on the road, I stopped and pick it up, and I dedicated to see a pure world and a free of suffering.
Wow, very good. Very good. I pick up things that'll cause someone to have a flat tire. I look for Diamond Mountain, I look for nails all the time. One time at Diamond Mountain, I just gone and gotten new tires for my truck, and I bought for $12 a tire. I bought the insurance that said if something happens to the tire, we'll replace it for free. So I drive home, everything's fine. I get up the next morning and I see what's called a surveyor spike. It's about this long and it's sticking through the sidewall of the tire. The tire isn't flat. And I'm like, oh my God. So I call the tire company. They say, sure, bring it in. You've got the insurance for it. So a $150 tire cost me $12. The funny part of the story is at the shop the day before, the guy in front of me had said, I don't want your insurance. That's a scam. And I thought to myself, well, that's what you think of it. So I got the insurance, and sure enough, it was very beneficial for me. So thank you for picking up the garbage. And you're right. That's what's going to make your future world what you want it to be. Okay, there's Mike. He didn't move from his car from Monday. He changed his clothes, but he didn't move from his car.
I'm just living here. I've renounced the world, and I'm now living in my car. I'm kidding. I have a house and that I live in. What do I rejoice about? I'm having an issue with a friend right now who is lying to me.
No.
And I know. And it's about it's like dealing with like addiction and stuff, and like just it's kind of like affecting him a lot. And so I'm feeling this. I'm noticing that I'm starting to take things personally, right? I'm noticing the tendency for me to start taking things personally, and I'm not taking the bait. I'm not following it, and I'm thinking of the situation more in terms of how I can help him the best. And because there's things that I can do that would positively affect the situation. But I just wanted to rejoice that like that I'm able to catch that little story, because normally I would start like yelling at him and how dare you lie to me and you did this to me and all of this, when he's just like really he's lying because he's in pain, and he's trying to get by, you
Yeah.
know.
And
So I
not only
just
that, it looks like he's lying to you, but where'd that lie come from?
exactly, and then I'm like, oh, where did I lie? So it's like, keep the book. Where's my book?
Yeah, very good. Well, that's exactly what I hope. And so many of you are doing that. You are putting into practice what we're talking about. And I've always found when I do, it's very comforting and makes me feel like I'm making some kind of progress. Hey, Maximilian, you're looking pretty chipper this morning. Okay, who's next? Evgeny.
Всем привет.
Hello, everyone. This weekend, I met with my nephew. He was 18 years old. I didn't see him for 3 years, and that is not the main rejoicing which happened. I told him about the pen. He didn't listen to about anything about seeds, and I told him about the pen, 4 steps, and that he can change his life and make it much happier. And what is the most important, he told, oh, that's super cool. I like it. I want to try it. And he promised me that he will try it out.
Wow, super cool. Wow. Well, just think what it would have been like if at the age of 18, you'd been introduced to the Dharma. Wow. Let's see, when I was 18 in 1971. How many of you were alive in 1971? So that's very neat. Super cool. I'll have to keep that, remember that. Okay. I haven't, is that Aura? I don't, something. What's her name? Or his name?
Всем здравствуйте.
Оля. Yes, hello everyone. I am happy to be at his class. That is my first visiting ACI 6. I'm quite nervous, and while everyone was rejoicing, I was thinking about it, what would I rejoice? And I would say that, first of all, I'm rejoicing that I'm learning to rejoice, because at some moment I understood that joy is absent in my life. Even everything is good, but I'm not happy about it. Not rejoicing about it, and almost like last 2 weeks, I am enjoying that I am paying attention to joy and rejoicing, and also at the moment when I'm doing something wrong, when sometimes I'm angry or felt some emotion which is unpleasant, I am catching myself and catching what I did wrong, where I made some misdeed, which seeds are ripening, and also it creates some joy. Even today, I wrote to my mentor that sometimes I'm even crying, that I'm starting to understand at the moment what I'm doing wrong. And I think it's the most significant joy for me now.
Wow. Well, it's an interesting phrase, what you're doing wrong. How can we rephrase that? You're doing it without wisdom. Maybe saying that makes it a little bit more friendly. You're you're doing something without understanding what the consequences. So is it wrong? Yes, but maybe there's a more pleasant way to describe it. I don't know. I don't like being told I'm wrong because I'm wrong all the time. I know only one person who's right all the time. Well, I know two people are right all the time. One of them's Katya, because she's never wrong. And the other one, the other one's my lovely wife. But anyway, okay. Tatiana, you're last but not least.
Здравствуйте.
Hello. Today I returned from my traveling from my favorite second city, St. Petersburg. And I'm very happy that seeds of generosity were ripening from my lovely man, my son and my boyfriend. I am very happy that the person who is walking very little, I set some record. We were walking for 25,000 steps. And on the way back, I was driving the car. I like the road. I'm professional in this, and I didn't practice it long time. And all the time, maybe not all the time, but I tried to keep my focus that everything of this is the result of my kindness in the past. And I was trying to observe negativities and do and make right conclusions. And even despite that I was tired and a little bit sick, I'm happy. And very glad to see you and share with you all of this. Thank you.
You're welcome. Well, very good. It's when you're tired and you don't want to that's so necessary to keep calm and emptiness in your mind, right at the front of your mind. It's like I don't catch myself saying it's my karma, but very often anymore. But boy, there was a time when I did. Okay. Oh, I have to rejoice. Well, what do I have to rejoice in? I rejoice in having a lovely wife who's as concerned about my health as I am, or maybe even more so. She's constantly trying to figure out, seeing something on the internet that might help me. And I really rejoice in that. It's probably, it's hard for her. I think it's hard for me to have Parkinson's. It must be hard for her to see me not being able to do the things that I used to be able to do and get disappointed. So I just rejoice in that. What else do I rejoice in? I had a lovely chat with my sister, Margaret. She's a year older than I am, and we're quite close. And I told her about the award I got for my writing, and she was just so very happy for me. It was kind of nice. I still think of the award as no big deal, but she was very happy for me. So that was nice. What else? I think that's, oh, an article I've written, a rough draft I sent to an expert in the field that I'm writing about. And he wrote back and said he really enjoyed it. He learned some things he didn't know, and it brought back a lot of good memories. So that's part of the reason I write these articles and these books, is bring back memories for people, good memories. Okay, class. Class 3, So what does ethics have to do with emptiness? From a bodhisattva standpoint, how does it relate to the six perfections? As we say in the refuge prayer I like to use, and by the way, that refuge, the modified refuge prayer, was something that Geshe Michael talked about. I can't remember which class. It might have been class, of course, 5. But so I modified my refuge prayer to include this practicing the 6 perfections with the understanding of emptiness. Geshe likes to use the example of his boss. His greatest spiritual practice was learning how not to get angry with his boss, i.e. practicing patience. So I think we all have the yelling boss in our life. My wife and I haven't had an argument. We haven't had an argument in years. And it's not because she's normally right, which she is, but we know where our karma is coming from if we don't agree. And we know that the best way to have that go away is to agree. So, but if you understand karma and emptiness, you know that you're going to be arguing with yourself. And so that's kind of silly. So I rejoice in that. Anyway, the 3 spheres, we talk about the 3 spheres. How does emptiness help when contending with someone who is annoying to you? How about the difference between being patient with wisdom? We're trying to use emptiness as protection against our mental afflictions. And Lord Buddha goes into this next in the sutra. By doing the perfections with the wisdom of emptiness, it increases the amount of merit we gain by vast and unaccountable amounts. He compares the amount of goodness you would gather by doing your act of giving with perfection of wisdom versus just ordinary giving. He says in the sutra, Lord Buddha, can we measure the space to the east of us? How far is it from here to there? Subhuti replies, no, that would be hard to do. It is infinite. What about to the north and the rest of the directions? What he's trying to do is get Subhuti to imagine the concept of infinity. Because if you could measure all those distances, that would be the amount of goodness you would collect by doing the perfection with the understanding of emptiness. Just to be patient with your boss is a really good thing. But to be patient understanding emptiness, to be patient with your mom, your brothers, your sisters, a friend that's lying to you, understanding why you need to be patient is an infinitely greater goodness. And it'll ripen in a more powerful and beautiful way. It is good karma to be patient, but it's infinitely better to be patient with the understanding of emptiness. A good deed done without wisdom is really just another case for more samsara, cause for more samsara, and a little bit of pleasure that will wear out. Geshe Michael shared an office with other people. One person did not know him well, did not care much about whether or not he was getting yelled at. One person didn't like him very much and actually liked it when he got yelled at. So that's the scene. Now the boss comes in and starts berating him. Put yourself in that situation. You're getting yelled at in front of other people. Not a very pleasant feeling, at least in my experience. I was very fortunate. My parents decided at the very early, well before I was born, I think, that they would not discipline us in front of other people. My mom had what we called the look. She'd kind of squint at you and you'd know you just gotten the look, which meant you were going to get it when you got home. But if we were out in the grocery store or something and misbehaved, she'd give us the look. The groceries away and she'd say, David, what did I tell you about acting like that out in public? you have to go to your room for an hour. But she didn't do it in front of people. If I had a friend over and we were misbehaving, I know it's hard to believe that I would misbehave, but I did. She wouldn't discipline me in front of my friend, but when they went home, I got disciplined. So you need to consider others when you make some of these decisions. So at the very moment of being yelled at by the boss and not liking it, we're experiencing past negative karma, the past unkind deed. So when I was getting yelled at by my mom or disciplined by my mom, it was because in the past I had done something that required me to broke a rule of some kind and thought I got away with it. And I didn't, because now it's come in this moment in life, it's come back as my mom getting mad at me. Now my brother could be in the same room and he's happy I'm getting yelled at. So the same words coming out of my mom's mouth, he thinks are great, I think are terrible. So we have one object, my mom yelling at me, and it's been perceived of in two ways. Maybe my sister is in there too. So three ways: bad, indifferent, and good. How can my mom be all three of these at one time? It's not possible. So what is happening? The characteristics are coming from the observer, not what appears to be the self-existent object. It sounds so simple, and it is. Once you begin to understand emptiness, this is the proof of emptiness. The quality of being yelled at and knowing it or not, my mom, is coming from someplace else, me. The emptiness of the yelling boss. What do I want to say? The emptiness of the yelling boss is that he or she is not self-existently getting mad at me, because if it was true, then everybody in the room would be feeling the same emotion, that I was getting yelled at because I'd done something wrong. Someone else in the room that doesn't particularly like me might be rejoicing in the fact that I was getting yelled at. And think, if you're honest with yourself, you can probably, maybe not recently as mature adults, but I can remember being happy when someone got yelled at. Well, I remember this is particularly uncomfortable for me. I had gone to visit my lovely wife back before we were married. I was going water skiing in Northern California, and they picked me up at the bus stop. I'd taken the bus up there, and I didn't know her father very well. I didn't know her brothers, but her father started just laying into her younger brother for having done something stupid with the ski boat. And I just remember feeling I wanted to shrink into nothingness and hide, because he was getting mad at his son in the presence of what I thought was a stranger. But they've accepted me like I was one of their children. So he was disciplining his son in front of the rest of the family. But I'll never forget that. I never forget. So whenever I got angry in the future at someone, I did it privately. The other thing about anger, I found this out well, kind of the hard way. How many times have you gotten angry at somebody and actually had them say, "You're right, I'm wrong"? I can't think of when I've ever had that happen. So what's the point of getting angry? you're not going to change their mind. You need to think of a way to get them to change their mind. That you need to think of a way that will get them to change their mind. And getting angry has never been the solution for me. So how do you, if getting angry at someone doesn't solve the problem, how do you solve the problem of someone doing something wrong? What's a good example from Diamond Mountain? Oh, some of you may or may not. Well, if you haven't been to Diamond Mountain, you don't know the lore. I was in charge of safety at Diamond Mountain. And when you go into the temple, there's an entrance that's got bookshelves, and that's where people are supposed to put their shoes. And people weren't putting their shoes on the shelf. Very clear, very simple thing to do. So when this first started to happen, I came this close to taking the shoes that are on the floor and throwing them as far out into the desert as I could do, so that people would quickly understand that they were going to have to go out and get their shoes walking across the rocks, and it would be very painful and very memorable. But I said to myself, is that how you'd want someone to help you do something more correctly? Of course not. So what I did instead, this is probably not right either, but it was less wrong, if there is such a word. What I did was I took their shoes and I put it on the farthest shelf away from the entrance door. And I put them on top of some other shoes. And a very good friend of mine, my contractor, came to me after class. I was out there for some reason, said, "Where are my shoes? I put them right here." And I said, "Doug, where'd you put them again?" He said, "Oh, right here on the floor. I was in a hurry." And I said, "And where do they belong?" "On the shelf." "Well, where do you think you're going to find them?" "On the shelf." He found them and he just looked at me like, this is really not that important. Yeah, it is important, because we had a lady break her ankle tripping over shoes. And that's just not necessary. So I caught myself by not throwing the shoes out as far as I could into the desert, but I did. I hid his shoes. They were in plain sight because I knew where I put them. But I got quite a reputation for telling people about the shoes. What I had to share with them was I had talked to the shoes, and the shoes didn't mind touching each other. It seemed like people didn't want to put shoes on top of somebody else's shoes. It was very, very strange. I had Geshe-la's attendants at the time, Mercedes, and I followed her into the temple, and she took her shoes off and laid them right there in the entrance to the temple and walked in. And I said, "Mercedes, you're supposed to put your shoes on the shelf." She said, "Well, I'm just going to be a minute." Shoes go on the shelf. So now that's trivial in many ways, but that little seed, I think, helped people understand to follow the rules, and helped me understand I couldn't get angry at them, because the reason they weren't putting their shoes up is because I had ignored instructions maybe from my mom or my dad. So something not trivial. I contend that it's not the big things in life that we have to wrestle with. It's the little things. The little things grow into the bigger things. So if we can catch them when they're little and stop them, we're in much better shape. If for some reason you still think if they are projections, they're not real, go to the dentist and enjoy getting your teeth drilled without anesthesia. Now, I have a story about that. I'm telling lots of stories today. So I just started reading the James Bond novels, and he's Macho Man. And so I started not having Novocaine injections when I got fillings put in my teeth. And I'd squirm and not be a very good patient. So one day my dentist said, it would really be much easier on him, if you just let me put some Novocaine in your tooth so you could stop squirming. I agreed. He was right. Interesting thing about Novocaine for me, it makes my tongue feel, half of my tongue, when it puts Novocaine in this side, the other side of my tongue feels cold when it's hot and hot when it's cold. It's really very weird. I don't know why I mentioned that. It's not about willpower with karma and emptiness. Our projections are forced on us by the ripening of karma made from past deeds. We have no choice about the ripening, but we do have a choice about how we react to it. So it's not my karma, but it's my karma. So I don't want that to happen again. I'm not going to get angry. This is why Lord Buddha taught ethics. Basically, how to make karma that will ripen in your future pleasantness on the way to your paradise. All the Lojong teachings and the Bodhisattva 6 perfections are tricks of the trade to get your mind to be able to react differently than our habitual selfish way. The trouble is, for most of us, this does not stop the suffering immediately, or it doesn't bring happiness immediately. But when you understand emptiness and react in the correct way, you'd be surprised how quickly it can ripen. I used to think it would only ripen in the future lives, so not that what I did now wouldn't matter in this life. But I've had enough instances with my writing and research where by helping others, I've had things become available that I had no reason to believe would become available. And I believe that's my karma ripening for helping people as quickly as I can. One of my students asked me for some information a couple of days ago, and I immediately stopped what I was doing, went and found a little bit more information for him, and sent it to him, and dedicated that to not only my getting the information I need, but my getting what I need. So if I gave him information, one could argue the only kind of benefit for that would be for me would get information back. But I look at it this way. I gave him something he needed. And so by doing that with wisdom, I will get back in the future something I need. Maybe information, might be a job, might be ice cream when I haven't had ice cream in a long time. Something I needed. So it's important with karma and emptiness. The karma correlations are very important, but I think it's too easy to try and make a karmic event be one-on-one. So if I help someone with information, the only thing I'm going to get back from that karma ripening is information. I look at it this way. I help someone get what they needed. So more importantly, in the future, I'm setting the seeds for me to get what I need, whatever that means. Okay. A difficult point to remember, but one that's helped me tremendously with my medical issues, is the experience we're having now did not come from what appears to have caused it. If we lie in a business dealing to get a profit from it, the profit did not come from telling a lie. It came from being generous to others in the past. The case in point is Saddam Hussein. All his riches did not come from his dictatorship practices, although they appeared to. They came from past generosity. The way it seems that he got them will become the apparent cause for poverty in the future. How do you practice patience in the moment of anger or well, anger, I guess, is the best example. How do you practice out the perfection of patience with the understanding of emptiness? We use a very common example. Can any of you tell me, how do you practice the perfection of patience with the understanding of emptiness? I'll give you a hint. A piece of wood. No? Okay.
Is that the same? Oh,
Go ahead.
me?
Yeah.
Is that when if someone hits you with a piece of wood, am I angry at the wood for hitting me? Am I angry at the person for hitting me? Who should I be angry at?
Oh, that's very good. I hadn't thought of that.
And really, in reality, it's anger itself.
Yeah.
It's the bad karma of my own anger created something that I then created something happened to me to be angry at. So I felt like the wood had no intention of hurting me. It was just a piece of wood that was being used. And the person who hit me also had no real intention because it was forced upon him by his karma to hit me. And I had my karma to see this happening and being hurt because I hurt others.
Well, that's not exactly what I was looking for, but that's something we should talk about. I'm looking for this quote from Master Shantideva.
Мастер Шантидева, стать как бревно.
Master Shantideva told to be like a bump on a log, like.
Right. Very good. Very good, Katerina. I'm impressed. Between the two of you, you've used the two examples of wood that we talk about. The one I was looking for was the quote from Master Shantideva. Verse 53, chapter 6, The Guide to Bodhisattva's Way of Life, translation by Stephen Batchelor. Whenever I have impatience, laziness, or cowardness, shamelessness or the desire to talk nonsense, if thoughts of partiality arise, at these times too, I should remain like a piece of wood, like a bump on the log. If you don't have a copy of the Bodhisattva's Guide to a Way of Life, I really strongly recommend that you get a copy and read it. And read it often, because there's so much wisdom in there. I have a particular translation that I like. One of the first things Stephen Batchelor translated when he started translating commercially was The Guide to Bodhisattva's Way of Life. And his translation was so beautiful. Just gorgeous. It was like Geshe Michael's writing. And then he translated it again because he felt he had become a better translator. And I didn't like it anywhere near as much. But I've taken that. I have a whole list of quotes from him that I'd like to use when I'm teaching. So that's another source of all my good, 3 principal paths, 8 verses of mind trading, and get a copy of Master Shantideva's book. We need to think, the boss is yelling at me, he is blank. Whatever comes next is from my own deeds. So how do we keep this from happening again? How do you keep from having someone be angry at you? How do you keep that from happening again? You don't get angry back. So we talk about the data that we assemble into, our projection assembles into what's going on. This is a problem for me. I'm still wrestling with, so as my karma ripens, and then I project it. So I project it. I understand that. There's things in my projection. But what are they projecting onto? And I think the problem is we don't have sufficient words in English anyway to really describe what happens when karma ripens. Because if it ripens onto something, that something had to come from somewhere. My wife says it comes from the same karmic seed, and I'm working on that. Right now, I talk about it as everything out there is a potential for something to happen. And my karma is ripening for that potential to be realized as my karmic seeds ripening. So I don't have control over what ripens now, but I do have control over what will ripen in the future. So by not getting angry back at somebody, by not telling lies, I'm setting the seeds for my future. Which I think is wonderful because that means I have complete control over my future. Well, not quite, because I don't have the control over what karma is going to ripen next. So what I need to do is set it up so the karma that's going to ripen next is always good, pleasant karma. That's what a Buddha paradise would be. I came up with an analogy here that I'm not sure works, but I kind of like it. The higher school says when you go looking for the data, for the colors and shapes that you organize into something, there's always a left and a right and an up and a down. You'll never find the original data. That doesn't satisfy me still. But the idea of a 3D printer is getting closer for me. The subject, ink, are my karmic seeds as they ripen. And the final printed object is, then I see it. So I think my karma ripens, then I see it. So the ink are my karmic seeds. They ripen, and using the printer analogy, they print out an object that I then see and react to. Dependent origination is the process of projections forced on us by karma. Things are projections. They are real. They're not artificial or imaginary. The highest school says there are outer objects, and they are my projections. Lower middle way says it's 50-50. There's something out there we are projecting onto, such that the data and the labeling end up with angry boss. The highest school says no, not everyone projects face onto the data, the face of a yelling boss. So face is also a projection. Parts of the face, parts of the face are all projections. So how does emptiness help with an angry boss? Again, we are not saying, and let me make this clear. We are not saying just think of his emptiness and you will not get mad. We are not saying because he's empty, the experience is not unpleasant. It is unpleasant. What we are saying is this: my karmic seeds are forcing me to experience a thing that is unpleasant to me. What do I do about it? If I do not want to recreate the unpleasant notion or situation, I must not yield back. If I do want to, if I want to have that happen in my life, just keep sassing them back, keep yelling back at them. So, you all know about the 4 powers of purification, right? Who can give me the 4 powers of purification? Cornelia, you look like you're ready to answer. No?
Sorry, my English is not so well, Alex. Maybe can you tap in, please?
Yeah, first remember where the things are coming from. So I only know the desai, maybe not the steps. Remember the pen. Then second is sorry. Decide to no.
The 4 R's. Refuge, regret,
yeah, then
restraint, and remedy. The refuge. Now they teach, often it's taught, refuge and regret are reversed. I like to look at it this way. I've done something wrong. I say, I know I did something wrong, and I know I take refuge in the fact that I believe in karma and emptiness. I regret the second power. I regret what I did because I do know it's going to come back to me and ripen into something unpleasant. My restraint, so that I don't do it again, is I say to myself, I won't get mad at that particular, I won't get mad at Maximilian for squirming around during class, because I know that if I don't get mad at him now, I won't have this problem in the future, because my restraint is my wisdom, my understanding of karma and emptiness. Then the remedy is what you do to make up for getting mad. And that would be the most powerful thing is to study emptiness, the concept of emptiness. But it can be any number of other remedies. How are we doing on time? We have a little bit more to go. If you want to take a 10-minute break, let's go ahead and do that. So let's come back at 15 after the hour. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to try and answer them now.
You had asked us to think of a food that we don't like.
Oh, yes, thank you.
And I was having such difficulty because I'm a foodie. I love to eat. And I've been forced to eat less of the things I love. My karmic seeds of popping. And I found one. I found one food I really don't particularly care for. I'll eat it, but I don't care for it. And that's I forgot it. It's a cheese. It's that smelly cheese. Blue cheese, is it called?
Roquefort.
It's smelly and it's potent, and it kind of cuts my tongue when I eat it.
Yeah.
It's that's the only cheese I don't care for. I'll eat it very little, but I even eat anchovies as long as they're fresh and good. So I couldn't find a food I didn't like.
Well, thank you for reminding me. Those that didn't go away from the microphone. Lydia, do you have a food you don't like?
I think yes, but mostly it's from some alive, like caviar.
Caviar.
Or
You're Russian,
something
you
like
don't
that.
like caviar? How can a Russian not like?
Yes, yes, I'm from Russia.
Wow. We call chopped olives, black olives, we call that California caviar. You chop it up fine enough, it looks like caviar. But okay. Christina, do you have a food you don't like?
Да, есть. И она мне всегда не нравилась. Ну,
Yes, there is, and it's always disgusting for me. It's a porridge, any kind of porridge.
Well, I've got a great story about oatmeal. I was doing my first Leirung retreat, and the people that were supposed to be bringing me my meals every day mixed up who was in charge, and I didn't get any food sent in for 3 days. And all I had was my breakfast, which was instant oatmeal. By the time I got done with those 3 days, I never wanted to eat oatmeal again. But I find it interesting you think porridge is disgusting. I think that's pretty funny. Okay, Katerina, what food do you not like?
Мама говорит, что в детстве я не любила апельсины.
Mother is telling that I didn't like oranges in my childhood, and after that I started to like it. I also didn't like some like холодец. It's like meat and cold. And also, I don't like when people are eating insects. I wouldn't even try to do it.
I don't know anybody that eats insects. Do people eat insects? And you know people that eat insects?
They make
Wow.
cricket flour now.
Oh, thank you. That's disgusting. Wow. Okay, who else? Svetlana, what food do you not like?
Yeah, I also agree with like some live food, like insects or something. Yeah, some those strange food. Like I don't understand these people who can eat. Yeah, and like speaking about like ordinary food which I can eat, some like vegetables and etc. It's also like difficult for me to find, but maybe some kind of porridge which is like kind of staple food and it's repeated quite often, and then it is becoming not among the favorite ones.
Okay, Katya, well, she's not bad. There she is. What food do you not like? Whoops. You're frozen. Okay, Alexander, what food do you not like? He's not there either.
Yeah, I'm here. Hi. Yeah, I can no longer eat some meat or sausages or something like this. In fact, 2 weeks ago, I even had a dream that I was eating some sausage, and in the dream it was so disgusting. And afterwards, even after I wake up, I had still, I think, for 2 or 3 hours this disgusting feeling that I ate some sausage.
Wow.
Mm.
I used to love sausage.
Mm.
Okay,
Yeah, me too, but not in.
Katya, what food do you not like? Turn your microphone on.
Watermelon.
Watermelon.
Yes, I don't like it too much.
Interesting. Watermelon. Wow. I have a good friend, volleyball player. He's Hispanic, and he was allergic to iceberg lettuce. Iceberg lettuce is about the most innocuous non-food It has very little taste, has no nutrition, but he got migraine headaches from it. And he finally was able to figure it out one day because he had some tacos that didn't have the lettuce on it, and he usually got sick from migraines from eating tacos. So it was very interesting. Okay, Daria, what food do you not like? Okay, Cornelia, what food do you not like? Okay, Mike, what food do you not like?
I don't like malted milk balls. You know what those are?
Yeah,
Like
the
Whoppers.
Whoppers. Oh, I love Whoppers.
Oh no, they're disgusting.
I could eat my weight in Whoppers.
Oh my God. I can't even eat one single Whopper.
My sister has the same opinion of Whoppers, but I think they're great. Tatiana,
So gross.
how about you? Do you have a food you don't like? No, she's not back yet. Evgeny, do you have a food you don't like?
Я неделю ходила и думала, что же мне не нравится.
I was going through the week and was thinking about what I don't like and couldn't remind myself.
Oh, well, good.
I think fried and boiled onion.
No, fried onions. I love fried onions. Huh. Okay, Olga, what food do you not like? Okay. What food would I choose not to like? Oh, my mom used to give us blocks of tofu, unseasoned tofu when I was little. And oh my God, that made me want to throw up every time I even put it in my mouth. Now I love tofu. But back then, oh man, it was all I could do. There's another food that I don't, it's not that I don't like, I think is pointless, and that is eating artichokes. Artichokes. Why would anybody eat artichokes, take the leaves and dip them in? The only good thing about artichokes is I dip them in mayonnaise, and I love mayonnaise. Anyway, well, let's get back to class. Well, I found that kind of interesting. People ask me what my favorite dessert is, and my wife and I always respond the same way, whichever one we're eating at the moment. Okay, the homework asks about dividing bodhicitta into ultimate and deceptive forms. Ultimate bodhicitta refers to the direct perception of emptiness, and is considered ultimate because the direct perception of emptiness is the ultimate form of caring for others. Deceptive bodhicitta refers to deceptive reality. This is actually the definition of bodhicitta that we used. Definition that is not the ultimate form. So why the distinction? To reveal the two realities, the ultimate reality and relative or deceptive reality, is a way to understand our world. The deceptive is we're fooled or deceived into believing something that is really something else. Looks like one thing, but it's really another. The collection of merit refers to the first three and part of the fourth perfections, all done with wisdom. The collection of wisdom refers to the last 2.5 to create the mental body of a Buddha. Collection of merit gives rise to the physical body So you have Narmakaya, the emanation body. You get that because of the incredible good deeds you've done. Anytime anybody needs your help, your emanation body appears instantly with the thought. There are three types of emanation bodies. The inanimate ones, such as the wind blowing through the trees or rain when you need it, a lower life form or human. The ultimate emanation body is one with 112 marks, looks like the one who taught in India in 500 BC, looks like Lord Buddha. The Sambhogakaya is the enjoyment body. It's the body you'll see in your Buddha paradise, but it always stays in your Buddha paradise. The Sabhavakaya, the essence body, it's the emptiness of the other three. For example, a Buddha is forced by their past karma to perceive themselves as an emanation body. His Holiness the Dalai Lama is forced to see a Buddha body. Chinese are forced to see an enemy, and I don't have the karma to see him other than as an extraordinary human being. Then the Jnana Dharmakaya is the wisdom body, the Buddha's omniscience, perceiving all existing things in all three times. He's not omnipotent, but he or she is omniscient, knows what each being needs to give up and what to take up in order to reach our Buddhahood. The Dharmakaya is the combination of the essence and wisdom body. The Rupakaya is emanation and enjoyment bodies. In this class, Geshe Michael reminded us that emptiness is always arrived at by a double negative. So my definition of emptiness is as potential is incorrect, or is it? Capacity for becoming something. All of you are not my projections. That's the same as saying all of you are my projections. A double negative makes it negates it. Now the sutra goes to where Lord Buddha talks about giving with wisdom and the vast merit it makes. Lord Buddha, Subhuti, how do you know when you're looking at a Buddha's body? Where do the 32 major and 80 minor marks on a Buddha's body come from? Subhuti says, when you look and see those 112 perfect marks, you know you're looking at a Buddha. But what then about these marks, says Lord Buddha? Subhuti says, these marks are impossible. These marks do not exist. The point is, the trend in the sutra is to point out that everything exists as projections. So why does Lord Buddha say the marks of the Buddha are deceptive, yet also true? They are deceptive in that they appear as if they exist independent of a Buddha. But in reality, they are nothing more than projections, and this is their truth. You, the Buddha, will have these marks, but they will be nothing but your projections forced on you by your goodness. Lastly, for today's class, why did Lord Buddha say the physical body of the Buddha has no marks at all? He never says anything without a reason, so why did he say that? Choni Lama says he's pointing out the emptiness of both kinds of bodies. The first, he says, refers to the physical body marks, which are projections and nothing else. We'll never find a mark on a Buddha's body that does not come from our own projections. Secondly, we refer to the emptiness body, reinforcing the fact there is no self-existent anything to a Buddha. Lastly, we've been talking about applying the idea of karma and emptiness to unpleasant things, but obviously it applies to pleasant things. And how can we talk about the emptiness of something pleasant? Well, it's like I use the idea of love and compassion in the example of my wife when she's got her migraine headache. Offering her ice cream when she's got a migraine headache would be disgusting. But offering her a hot compress would be wonderful. Now, when we're having dessert and watching a movie, offering her a warm compress would probably not be the thing to do, even though she would like in another circumstance. So this is where I make sure I'd like to reiterate through classes. When you're thinking of doing a good deed to help somebody, stop and think about what you're doing to see if it's what you want or what they need. It's very important because otherwise you can be setting seeds for them and seeds for you that you don't want to set. Let's dedicate. What are we doing? 11, almost 11:30. Well, the fireman didn't come. That's disappointing. Okay, let's dedicate. As long as space remains, as long as sentient beings remain, until then may I too remain to dispel the miseries of the world. Through this merit may I soon attain the enlightened state of Guru Buddha, so that I may be able to liberate all living beings from their suffering. May the source of benefit and goodness, the Dharma, spread and expand. May the beings upholding the Dharma have excellent health. May the source of happiness and well-being for all embodied beings, the Dharma taught by the Buddhas, always increase. And finally, may the merit of my life, my practice be for the benefit of all living beings, especially my students, without exception. Okay, we'll see you on Thursday. Thank you for sharing your food proclivities, and thank you for your rejoicing. It always warms my heart to hear you all rejoice. Okay.
Thank you for the teachings.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for teaching us. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Спасибо.
Good day. Thank you. Please keep teaching us. Bye-bye.